Welcome to the Unveiling Shadows podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Mosby. Join me as I dive into powerful stories of resilience and strength. In each episode, I sit down with guests who have faced similar journeys of coercive control, financial manipulation, and personal invasion. Together, we uncover the shadows, share our experiences, and inspire others to reclaim their lives. Tune in, listen, and be a part of the community that stands tall against the forces that seek to control us.
Hi, welcome back to Unveiling Shadows podcast. I'm Kimberly Mosby, your host, and today we are joined by Brent Marshall, and he sent me some interesting emails of videos linking witchcraft to half-moon rituals. So, Brent, thank you for joining me today, aka Gov Buster. Let's get into it and explain to people what you found out between the murder mystery shows and the half-moon rituals.
It seems these local public officials, in combination with some church people, are out here gang stalking, killing people, running them on murder mystery shows, acting like they don't know what happened, and then coming back here towards the end and trying to pass themselves off as heroes when they're anything but. Jane Wilhelm was one in Texas, and I hope Skip Inslee gets this out of Dallas, Texas, because he's a private investigator I've been talking to before we left Texas and moved here to Arkansas. And we had this case solved. I don't know much to say other than the last I saw, the son and the daughter, Howard Robeson and Jennifer Davis, they were at the courthouse in Dallas fighting these people, holding a sign in the Dallas Observer or something saying there is no justice. Well, I get here and I'm busy and I start building a house and I have to call Skip Inslee because these people are doing this. And basically they tell me they killed the son too. So this is an ongoing problem. These people aren't answering to anything they're doing. I'd like to give special thanks to Aaron Green over at the FBI at Little Rock for calling it the Great Divorce and allowing these people to gang stalk us even into Missouri. We filmed all of this. We have the full documented proof of this. Several families out here. Jacob Cole Barnes was murdered on a half moon. He shot an officer named Scobie and wounded another officer. When we went to the Mountain View Police Department city, they threw us out. When we went and reported conspiracy to commit murder to the Stone County, Arkansas Sheriff's Department, they laughed in our face. And when I told them to roll the car up anyway, they rolled up a guy named Justin Smith. I slapped this down on the hood, and we both body cammed each other, and we both went our separate ways. Less than 90 days later, he's shot dead on a half moon by a guy named Clinton Hefton. Nobody in this town thinks William Alma Miller did this to Rebecca Gould, because simultaneously at the same exact time that they're running this on TV, I'm being ritualized by these people in the same exact fashion. If you go to Gov Buster channel and look up my gift to the Arkansas governor, because we've been there too. Okay. We have criminal complaints at DOJ, the White House. We're fixing to go talk to State Troop I over here. And it's been 20 years. These people have been doing this in this town. They were doing it in Centerville, Texas. They've done everything from try to call me crazy to jail me and tell me to shut up. This guy tells me to shut up out here pointing a gun at me. And I've done nothing but what I'm supposed to is to stand up for people that I didn't even know and investigate into these people and who they are and what crimes they've committed. At every local county level, I would have to say now in the USA this is going on. So all you people out there need to be aware, very aware of this. And this is what's causing the violence. My job is to come in and speak on both sides, on behalf of the police that are killed and on behalf of the citizens that are killed. And why this violence is going on, like these Mormon churches that are being shot up and burnt to the ground. Some guy walks in the other day in DMV in Delaware and shoots a trooper dead. Just the other day in Idaho, same thing at a sheriff's office. And the media keeps calling these people shooters, but they don't get into the before story of how these people were run into the dirt and stalked to be victims. So I'm tracking all this, and I've been tracking this a long time. I know when Trump's going to attack Venezuela yesterday. These are all half moons. You notice he met with Zelensky and met with Netanyahu. And the last time they met with Putin and all them. All these wars, all these political assassinations, all these citizens are being killed by this group of Freemasons who are doing it in a timed, planned fashion. I almost got run over by a truck the other day that gunned it out of a parking lot at me. And we're going to go back to State Troop I, and we're going to see these troopers, and we're going to film them and see what they have to say.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to film everything.
Anyway, this murder investigation into us matches the same exact thing that they did to Rebecca Gould here. Moon phases, months, dates, just a different year. And at the bottom here, this is taken from Miss Jennifer Buckholtz's article. And she's partnered up with a guy named George Jared. And he's writing these books, The Witches 3 from Tennessee. And those people just got out of death row for 18 years and were wrongly convicted. So they're batting 1,000 on this. When I called Jennifer Buckholtz up and say, I got the killers in the front yard, she did not come running. You see, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And this is every judge, every county official you have, including Missy Irving, Tom Cotton, kind of had it out with a Kevin Brady and a Ted Cruz in Texas. And to this day, these people have not answered for what they've done. They're profiting from evil. They're being rewarded for it. The votes are fraud. Their hiring practices are a fraud because you can't be in there unless you're one of them. And during this whole thing of interviewing the mayors and everything else here, they ran into a person named Linda Brewer here, and she's a missing person. And it kind of disturbs me that they're running her as a missing person because she works for the county and we think they know what happened to her. I mean, this is an endless amount of victims. 10 right here. 20 or so in Centerville, Texas, threatening to arrest reporters there. And then when I go in there and ask them, because I had to live in that place, we bought a property, they attack us and try to call us crazy. I passed the crazy test. I'm not crazy.
We've all been there. We've all been there.
I'm very accurate in what I say, and I've never backed down from these people. I've always confronted these judges face to face. I've never backed down from them. I never will. And I'm just trying to do the good work. I mean, that's it.
I was impressed with your connection with the half moons and the witchcraft, and then tying it back into the Freemasons.
It don't matter if you're Sarah Sanders over here doing good deeds and funding things and everything else on these full moons too. This would basically be pagan idol worship, and they're praising her. Oh, on these full moons, it's a mother goddess thing. These people are practicing a religion masked as the government, inventing laws that if you don't adapt to them, they're judge and insult you. And they're doing anything but what their book they claim they read says. They're actually quite the opposite. So the first female cop come out here, this would be the mother. Watch this. This would be the mother of all harlots, okay? Because if you go from here to here, it's 9 months. And then you have, and this would be the black arm of Baphomet, okay? And Rebecca Gould was killed right here, okay? Then you go from here 9 months over to that 1 year and 2 days, the father of all lies, Brad Breeding, sheriff for Stone County here, points a gun in my face. He would be the second white arm of Baphomet. So it's ascension and descension of light and dark cycles is what they're doing. You can watch DC for a little while and figure these things out. The amount of things I've seen them do is incredible. I'm just touching on the surface of this. They are doing religious things.
Satanic
I can speak
things.
for every president and what they've done, but it don't matter. It's unconstitutional on its face for a government to practice a religion and force anybody into that religion, regardless of either side whose religion it is, okay? Disqualified immunity has elevated these people to God status. It's not fair and equal under the law in any way. They basically do what they want. They killed Jan Wilhelm and several others they called suicides in Centerville, Texas, and this was in a timed, planned fashion. You can compass and square these things, because when you get the same thing where this guy fills out a will, Gerald Wilhelm, and Jan Wilhelm is killed right here, They say she shot herself, but she wasn't. And you have a court date here that coincides with these things, and people are rewarded for this. And I don't got the paperwork out. This is just a rough draft that I chalked up for you. These things are all timed and planned. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. Yeah, I think
At all.
everybody knows. Yeah. I think
All of
everybody
America. And it's causing violence, and this shouldn't be going on. They falsely accused me at Galveston, and if you see my case summary, on the face of it, it looks like I'm some bad guy.
Mhm.
They blame you for the same thing they do, okay? But when everybody in there saw all I gotta do is look at dates on something. And that's where this started. Somebody came up to me in Centerville, Texas, and I looked at these dates and I go, that's what I'm watching the government do. So I started solving this crime and they attacked me. We have to move. We asked Galveston County for help. I got mayors on tape saying, I know some bad judges and some ungodly Freemasons, and is that a body cam you have on? And I said, it sure is. So they referred me down to the police station. Next thing I know, I got 30 cop cars pointing guns at me, take me, falsely let me go. 14 months later, give me COVID, myocarditis, throw me in a cell and strip me down unconscious. No medical help, no nothing. They wanted me to die. The people were having big problems down at Galveston County, too, and had no charge. Scot-free, gone. If you refer to these things biblically, and this is what I'm talking about, when you're looking at these things and they say there's 10 days between heaven and earth and 10 days between earth and hell, what it's referring to is, say, like the moon cycle appears full on, say, December or October 10th, okay, where they indict me.
Okay.
And this would be basically biblical, where I go in and see the daily sacrifices and exit out the same way to which I came in. So they let me go September 30th on that same full moon. 10 days difference, full harvest moon. I can prove they're doing these. Held me for no reason at the taxpayer's expense, okay? Even their names coincide with what's going on. And I can get in great detail. You can see these things because I'm going to start making videos in great detail on this to show the sham and the fraud and abuse that has gone on and occurred, disrupting people's lives. It's basically kill, steal, and destroy, and answer to no one is what it is. I have a lot to say.
Yes. Yeah. I'm glad you're saying it because I wouldn't have made that connection. So there's a reason that you're here.
When you get a Fox News alert and it's 2:37 in the afternoon, you can check your work because it's a half moon and produce and plane is diving down out the sky. This is one of the assassination things. So if there's 8 hours difference between Central Standard Time here where I'm at in Russia, you just wait 8 hours to 10:37. And when you do, the moon is directly at the 12 o'clock position over your head, as it was over Produsen's plane, as it was over my head when they're at my front fence, okay? And you're just checking your work. And it lines up every time, depending on which time zone these things happen in. It is what it is. Now on Fox News and all them things, they're putting, this happened moments ago or something, you know. But you can check your work on these things, and I'm trying to educate people on to understand what they're looking at, what their government is really doing.
Yeah.
All these people killed in these wars from World War II to Vietnam, it started on a half moon, to the Israeli-Hamas war, October 7th, half moon. The day the Russian-Ukraine war started, half moon. David Koresh at Waco, they're just blatantly defaming character to justify attack. And in some cases, they're attacking themselves, like 9/11. So Liz Cheney and Halliburton and all them can go steal Saddam's oil. He knew this. He knew he was unjustly attacked. I'm not really standing up for the guy. He was probably a bad guy. But he set the oil wells on fire so they couldn't get it, and it turned into an environmental disaster. Using our taxpayer dollars to do these things. I mean, Shinzo Abe in Japan, their leader right now is not, he's a stand-up. They killed him on a half moon. When Hillary says she came, she saw, he died with Gaddafi, that was a half moon. And these things I'm explaining to you, it's a spiritual alchemy and spiritual adultery, and it's sex magic like Hillary's talking about. So when you have a prosecutor sitting here at Stone County who has a chemistry degree from Arkansas State University, This is spirit cooking, spiritual alchemy, spiritual adultery, which is forbidding in your Bible that they claim they read. You see, they're absolute wolves in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, I agree with that. They burn the Bible actually in their Masonic rituals,
Yeah,
when
and
they.
Freemasons spit on the cross. They started treating me good over there at the county jail in Galveston, giving me certain books and stuff to read. Like Behold a Pale Horse from the original copy from Bill Cooper, which the second or third chapter is talking about the Freemasons spit on the cross and all this stuff. But about the third chapter is talking about Galveston being a concentration camp, and these things were done back in the 80s, and now it's sitting in plain sight. People don't realize it, that the way that facility is designed, it's also designed to be a mass execution facility for the public. It would be like an Auschwitz in plain sight, basically. These people are actually doing this. It's turnkey, ready to go. And if you see the as above, so below, you see One World Trade Center with a big giant triangle going up and a big giant one going down. It's like a black obelisk. Any questions, Kim? Because I can go on for hours and days and months
No, I'm
and never
just.
stop.
Yeah, yeah, keep on going. I think
I'm
it's
drawing the
fascinating
connections
that you drew the connections.
between these crimes. Well, I'd already been
So what
watching
about
DC do this. It wasn't until I encountered these people on a local level I started looking deeper into what they're doing. And then here again. So for me to move to a random place, Stone County, Arkansas, and encounter these people, do an exact copy duplicate of somebody who's already been killed here, that's not by chance. So,
right. So is that on murder mysteries or?
that was maybe true crime. I saw it was on A&E when I was watching it. I didn't really draw the connection at first, but then I said, let me run the numbers on this and let me run the reports and the dates from these individuals like Jennifer Buckholz in their own words and actions, and it comes straight up to it was time to plan from beginning to end. Everybody out here who I've showed this to say guilty, we'll convict them, but nobody wants to stand up and do so. There's a lot of cowards out there, and I've stood up and I've taken the whooping for a lot of people and have done exactly what I'm supposed to do. Hopefully you can get this out. I'll start making videos on it. We need some people arrested here because by definition, they are a threat to public safety, have been protected, don't have no criminal records because they're never arrested.
Right.
And we think it's about time it's been done. So we're going to see if we can make that happen.
I agree.
Maybe a trip to the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Yeah. So
on film. Yeah.
So apparently the New York Met are wanting to know how many of their police officers are Freemasons. And now they're going to go into the courts system, the corrupt court system, to have it dismissed because they're calling it discrimination against their religion. And it's not a religion, it's satanic.
Well, it's a religion,
so I thought
and
that was
it's
interesting.
satanic. This is paganism and Satanism, and they're teaching this stuff in the northwest part of Arkansas at Arkansas State University. I can't even believe they're doing it. They're doing child modification eugenics. They're doing a genocide, falsely enriching the pharmaceutical companies. They're getting rewarded for their evil at the people's expense, and it's time it stopped.
Yeah, agree. 1,000,000,000%. Yes, yeah.
So,
So what were the murder mystery shows that they're basically like the
I call
Dateline
unsolved mysteries. I call them. They don't want to
Unsolved
solve it.
Mysteries?
Dateline was running this one with Jan
What did
Wilhelm
they
in
say?
Texas, and whenever Gerald Wilhelm was going to go back on for some interview or something, he wound up dead. I'm surprised I'm sitting here talking to you now. At least we have some media that are independent and can get the message out there to people. Smack them around a little bit, wake them up. Because your government does not represent you.
Yeah.
Every town I've gone in, I polled the people in there. Nobody likes their local officials. Even the people here that know them hate them. And this guy who pointed the gun at me got fired from the school for doing something strange to some kid, I'm not sure. But when we go into the tax office, The lady there says this guy came and defrauded her home owner's insurance because he's also a fireman or something. And we're getting bad reports from the very same people that work there. And now he's out in my driveway pointing a gun in my face. And in a lot of cases, these people can't get their head around this and act in an intelligent fashion. They just kind of freak out and go attack them. Some people do get their head around this, and they're confronted with having to defend themselves for a problem that never should have existed. You see, when they imported all the people in here from somewhere else across the border and gave them licenses and health insurance and everything else, it was only for the part of Tom Homan and ICE security and all them people to have a job to throw them all out. But if you go back to the beginning of all this, this is a problem that never should have happened to begin with. So both political parties are washing each other's hands, basically. And when they're causing problems to justify their job positions, we don't need them or their job positions. Why are we paying them? Tom Cotton needs to get a hold of me because it's election time. And so does Missy Irvin. And they've been dodging me for a long time. And it's time to answer up.
Yeah, a lot of people need to answer. The government is fake. It's not for us. It's been infiltrated for a really long time. So people do need to wake up.
They would be the wolves in sheep's clothing for sure. And you see, if you have the Wilhelm case, you have a male and female witness, just like I'm showing you here. This guy works for Entergy. He's putting a power pole in. He's bringing fire down from the sky. This one's female officer here. So their law of opposites, male and female, the doctrine of duality, this royal arc of the procession of the equinox is what they're practicing. But when you get to Jan Wilhelm, you have Jan Wilhelm and Gerald Wilhelm, male and female. You have a banker female and a tow truck driver there that were recipients of these funds they stole. You have two witnesses that are male and female. You have a judge that's a male and a prosecutor that's a female. I mean, these are all, you can't, it's all exact. It's all very precise and exact. And I hope Skip Inslee in Dallas notifies Jennifer Davis to watch this podcast because I was trying to get a hold of them for years. And he's always kind of been the middleman. I've always kind of questioned his integrity, because some of these people are sitting on this to milk it. When I call private investigators here to hire them out of my own pocket, they refuse because of the subject matter. So the lawyers lose their licenses and they lose theirs, and everybody's attacked, and there is no justice. There's just none. So historically, you can run all these things.
Yeah.
I'd like to go.
That's
How long
talk
do you want
to
to
me
do the
about
interview?
we can go for an hour if you can stay on for about a half hour
Yeah,
more.
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so let's talk about the Charlie Kirk one.
I kind of want to stay silent on that for the moment because I already have
Okay.
much of it documented, but it's not over. In the fall, in the spring equinox and in the summer solstice, you'll see things happen again on about 21, 22 of each third and sixth month regarding these things. And it's just like this one. It follows this pattern. The 9 months went from Trump being in Phoenix, talking about the golden age, okay, while the Golden State's on fire.
Yeah.
Because I can get so much more detailed. And this is how the pattern moves, because it's from 1222 to 922 of and then you got turning point, that's 9 months. And then it goes over here to June of 26, which is 9 months. Then it goes over here to March of 27, which is 9 months. And then it goes to December of 28, and Trump's out of office. See how it coincides with the whole presidential run. So you got 1222 here. So he's using basically solar time instead of lunar on the equinoxes and the solstices. Over here, nobody really talked about it, but Jessica Aber, U.S. Attorney on 322, which is the number for Skull and Bones, by the way. She's gone. I didn't quite draw the connection over here to 622, but this is the day and the half moon that Trump bombed Iran. Then you have over here Charlie Kirk. It was kind of a lead-in where Trump's back in Phoenix and he's back at this funeral. And you didn't hear much from Erica Kirk up until you got to 1222 here, at full circle, and she's standing there with Trump, and she's on Fox News. So this should continue to maybe 322 and 622 coming forward. And I'd like to see what it's all about. I'm not knocking Trump. If you want to talk about Trump, we can talk about Trump. And in 2017, he took a little trip and he went overseas. And at his first visit, he went to Saudi Arabia and he danced around with them with a sword. Okay. The second part, he went to Jerusalem. Okay. He's standing in Jerusalem and his next trip is to Rome. Okay. He's doing this all consecutive. Okay. Now listen to this. The temples there in Saudi Arabia and everything have a crescent on top of them, like a moon, like bullhorns, okay? Then when you go over to Rome, they have like a scepter, like a lion's head, like the sun. So you have sun and moon, lion, bull, but he's standing in Jerusalem, okay? And he just came from Saudi Arabia. So on his left hand would be a bull, on his right hand would be a lion, and if he's facing west, he has the face of an eagle. This is Ezekiel's vision. Oh, physically in location. And behind him is a man. And that would be Xi Jinping, okay, from China. So when you're reading Revelation 12 and 13 and these things, you have the woman and the dragon. This would be China and America. And what we're witnessing basically in America is the mother of all harlots who's drunk on the blood of the saints, is what it is. If you want me to refer to these in biblical terms, I can. And I could be very exact. And people can go and check what I say. Simple as that. If nothing happened on the first day of creation, and you take this, and you can put this on it too. The second day would be Saudi. The third day would be Israel. The fourth day would be Rome with the Pope. The fifth day, he would be in Brussels, Belgium. And on the sixth day, God made man. And he went right back into Sicily to be a made man. This is the mob stuff. I mean, people don't recognize this, but if they go back and look at it, they'll see. So basically, they've done these things in the taxpayer's name, because I'm going to start talking a little religiously. Like when Obama met with the Pope that wears white from Rome and met with the Pope at the same time at the White House from Constantinople, Turkey, that wears black. And this would be the Eastern and the Western Roman Empire. So basically, he was doing ceremonies to revive the Roman Empire. Basically, your Bible is calling this legion. And if you look at what legion is, it's demons, and you see what happens to it. It don't last long. It gets destroyed. I can go on and on about each president and everything they've done. And to show you that this was a lead-in, to show you this was a lead-in with Charlie Kirk right there, I watched this Prophecy of the Pope show, okay? And this one insults my intelligence, too, because they say Pope John Paul II here was born on an eclipse, and he was deemed labor of the Solus, the sun. And this would be equivalent to the Mayan cosmic womb of the universe, okay? I know all the religions. I'm very well educated. I speak Mandarin, Chinese, and Spanish. I'm not a dumb person. But when you see that later on, he was entombed on an eclipse. He was born on an eclipse, and he was entombed on an eclipse, okay? It makes you wonder, was he killed on the half moon before the eclipse? This is a lead-in to what I'm talking about, so people can gauge what they're looking about with Kirk. Sometimes they're doing these things for their own purpose to gain sympathy for their cause. I don't agree with any of them. To me, politics is the devil's religion at this point.
Yeah. Yep.
It literally is. Starting around 2001, when 9/11 happened, this would be the start of the millennia. It couldn't, if you know that there's no zeros in gematria and everything, that it wasn't actually the millennia until 01, okay? And when you're looking at the calendar on this circle, you basically have April over here, March, April, and September and October over here. This would be the sacred calendar, and this would be the secular calendar. So at the exact point when they could first act in the secular calendar, this happens at night. Basically, you're doing false idol worship. You have Jonathan Cahn here making millions off this stuff, and he's talking about the return of the gods and all this. And this is just like Jeroboam from Kings telling, because they turned away from God and went out into the groves. And by the way, this William Allen Miller guy was from Cottage Grove, House of the Grove. Hit this girl in the head with a piano leg. Pianos have black and white keys. So does the half moon. I mean, this guy said some eerie things. He might be one of them, and probably is, but there's more of them.
Yeah.
So let me get back on subject. I can go on about this. Basically, they're not doing what they're supposed to be done.
No,
I'll cut it short.
they're not.
When I'm watching something, I don't want to say too much because you'll get a lot of ridicule out of it. And I already know these things are going to happen in the future. I can count things from you can count things 9 months out as an example. It's 12/22 with Trump. He's back in Phoenix at his Charlie Kirk fan. When Biden stands up here and it rolls over 9 months, I'm thinking another 9/11 at that point, and he attacks half, remember it's a half moon, of America with armed IRS agents. I mean, this is rigged from beginning to end. I'm trying to orientate people so they can see what's going on, so they can judge for themselves. In all these actions, I'm not holding opinion on who's a Republican, or what party they belong to. If they're black and white or China, I don't care. I'm looking at all these events as a fair, impartial, unbiased mediator, a conscientious observer, and I'm saying, was this something good that happened or not? Was it good or evil? And it's not good. So
Right.
basically, and you have to be like that. You can't have opinion to judge these things. You just have to report fact. And I encourage everybody to fact check me. I want them to, because they'll learn a lot. Guy didn't say.
Yeah. No, I'm learning.
We're nearing a time, Dr. Pepper.
I'm learning a lot. And I would not have.
If you see, we're nearing a time where we're at the point, and I'm not downing on the churches, but they're worshiping on Sunday. So basically, they're judging you on laws and rules they invented for people who haven't adopted their pagan beliefs in sun god worship festivals of Babylon. So this would be Babel. And basically, your Bible's telling you that leave America. I encourage everybody to. It will be destroyed at one point. And I'm not going to say when. I still have to put some pieces together on that one because that's a little further out. But when I'm looking at these people speak on TV and everything, I already know 9 or 18 months or so ahead to the day what they're going to do. Go back and rewind some Trump speeches. They're all 84 minutes long. So when you learn how to keep time, you start figuring things out. And besides, what's Trump doing at a rally in Phoenix? He already won the presidency. And this goes on and on. All the meetings with the Iran nuclear deals with John Kerry and all this, I tracked that extensively. And these pagan symbols too. Because it was one night I stayed up all night and I couldn't figure out what was I looking for in the sky. Because I'm manually watch and clock these things. And I didn't catch nothing. And they come on, they say, we reached an Iran nuclear deal. Well, one of these symbols in this paganism and such is a circle with a bullhorn like on top of it, a devil symbol like, okay? So I'm living in Houston. I go around, the sun's up. I say, what the heck? I might as well look and see that. I look, and it's the symbol. When they announced the Iranian nuclear deal, and the moon is coming up, and it's half lit from underneath, and the sun's coming up under it. And it made the sound. I was like, wow, look at this. I mean, I've collected so much data and had physically observed and confirmed this for myself, and am showing others all around me that were everywhere I was. The Bible shows on the TV, no, I'm true. And some of these people got their businesses here by people who passed away on half moons. And Charlie Kirk wrote The Pagan Threat, okay? And I think that's what this is, because this is what I'm saying too. And let's don't forget Skywatch TV and Tom Horn, who wrote The Pagan Entities That Are Ruling Over America. And this is what I was getting at in Jeroboam and Kings. When they turned away from God, he says, behold, Israel, these are your gods now? Well, behold, America, these are your elites now. This is the abomination of UN depopulation. This one guy out here, he's a septic boy in the middle of rural nowhere. has cage numbers, UN codification numbers. Y'all need to start looking into that too. So who's really running the show? And so when I go to Missouri and a mysterious knock comes at our RV door and there's 2 male subjects and I'm waiting for them to make a wrong move because I went over and beyond, notified the FBI. I had to leave my property so I'm not part of a crime scene or have to make one. Went out of my way to avoid trouble. And these people come a knocking anyway. 2 or 3 hours away, across the border. Everybody in the RV park knew they were coming. I told them. And everybody's filming them and everything. Some guy got mad at the trailer next door. He was like some old dirty hairy guy. He come out with a 44 in his hand. I never answered the door. They got uncomfortable and they left. And they're very fortunate they did, because I really don't want to have to defend myself, but I will in fear for my life.
Yeah.
And in saying this, I was trying to contact Skywatch TV. We were there in Branson. I go over to Crane, Missouri, where they say they're from, and I found some little gas station, things like that. I couldn't find these people anywhere. So I went back to the RV. It was a couple days later after this half moon. I went home. Well, 30 days later, Tom Horn is dead on a half moon. The guy who wrote the Zeitgeist 2025. You might want to look at that one, because these are all the symbolisms on your dollar bill. And some of these mysterious books that found their way while they falsely held me in jail were some of these things like Virgil's Eclogue and Homer's Iliad and Behold. And the Book of Enoch is what's explaining what you're looking at. Okay? I'm trying to give y'all as much information as I can, but bottom line, this is years of study and observation. I was always quiet, just wondering until I saw a victim on a county level. And that's when I tried to help Jennifer Davis and through Skip Inslee in Dallas, and basically drove all that way, paid money out of my own pocket, never saw it again, never heard from him again. The son's gone now, and I hope she hears this too. When I started looking into that, any of the people who left there who knew these things went on, because they were there at the time. I was there 5 years after that happened, and all those people met bad ends. I come here 18 years later, which, by the way, 18.6 is one lunar cycle. So 18.6 years later, I'm here, and they're prosecuting Miller. I mean, at the same time, 20 years and 1 day at all 4 points, it's a copycat crime.
Yeah.
The one side of the media is running murder mystery shows, and they're all presidential staff, and the new one's a Fox News crew. I mean, we need real honorable, competent leaders that restore integrity and honor to these courts and everything else. They're nothing more than a racket. Everything I've seen is a RICO case. I mean, and the FBI at Little Rock to respond in the way that they did. And I'm even, I think it was Aaron Green the first time. I know it was Aaron Green the second time I went after the second officer did this. And I throw this in their face and I let them know I fully understand who I'm talking to begin with. So don't be playing with me. You all are habitual offenders of these practices. Is my name in the book of life, or am I on a government hit list? Because I done left a whole state because of this, to have these people on us immediately, warn us, and to victimize us. It's ridiculous. I kind of had this one guy in and out, didn't know what to say, restless. It's the great divorce, he calls it, which don't sound professional at all. And there's another guy sitting off across the table. He's always staying quiet the whole time. So I start, ripping on him. Yeah, hey, pretty boy, what do you got to say about this? Trying to provoke him into, saying things and such, antagonizing him. Most people run. These people are holding you guilty until proven innocent. It's more like a Soviet gulag than anything constitutional. These people at Galveston County are held until they admit to a crime or a punishment. These lawyers are making a racket off of this. The taxpayer need to just shut the funds off immediately. They have things set up there in particular that if they wanted to turn the key on, they could gather up the population, exterminate them, and not stop.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've never been arrested here where I'm at. And they've done all this stuff, so they can't say I'm some bad guy or something, because I'm not.
Right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't pay taxes, and I think everybody needs to stop paying their taxes. Like, the funds need to be shut off.
I acted independently on behalf of another and managed an estate and thrived. I didn't have to work or pay taxes or anything. And when they deemed me, see, I had an injury and they basically head off and on, had problems walking, was in a medicated coma, deemed me state certified disabled, state of Texas. I never took their money. Didn't want a dime of their dirty money. Didn't believe them that I was disabled. It took me a few years to get back up and going, but I'm physically strong, and I built a whole house by myself as an achievement to my physical abilities, paid for every dime of it, and at the end, they're here pointing a gun in my face trying to take it. I have a state official who pulls up in a truck, black truck, silver-like badge on it. He's probably a state jailer. He lives down the street. Get this, and he's saying, you don't own that, we own that, and all this stuff. And I'm going, who is this guy? But this same guy, okay, because you're not only watching ascension and descension of light and dark cycles, you're watching the ecliptic. So as these constellations are going by and they change from winter to summer, Eastern Star, Venus in the east, and morning star, an evening star in the west in summer. So the Earth is doing this, and you're gauging these things. But when the ecliptic is going around, and get this, I got this on film. I'm up at 4 a.m. watching the first part of Orion come up over the sky on the horizon, and it's a few hours later or so, but the sun comes up, the sky turns blue, and you don't see it visually. But Orion's still moving, okay, across the sky. And when he gets to that 12 o'clock position, there's two constellations with it, which is Canis Major and Canis Minor. These are two dogs, okay? So exactly when it's over my head, this guy down the street here who's yelling this stuff at me comes walking up my driveway with two little white twin bulldogs walking back and forth in front of my property. I mean, and these things are probably the things that make people insane or such, but I understand exactly what they're doing. But when the Bible says your astronomers, your councils, your monthly prognosticators, and all these things are not going to save you, Babel. It's not. And all these people are putting their faith in another present or a man instead of God. It is definitely time to step aside from America. I know there's going to be a war coming. I know that it will be destroyed. I can time this stuff. So this is a serious thing. It's just a little far out on the horizon, but it is definitely coming. China will win.
I pray not. I pray not. Everybody needs to start praying.
If you're living by the Bible and the commandments as it states, the laws in Leviticus and Deuteronomy, etc., you can see what they're doing and the contrast to it. But when you're letting this thing guide you, it's telling you to leave America right now. And that's my biggest message, is to stop the killing on both sides and to, I can live anywhere in the world I want. I don't have to be here in Arkansas, and I'm going to do so because there's a lot better places to be. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And they'll probably blame me. Oh, he was trying to run. He was some criminal, and we caught him. See, they're also baiting you to blame you. We caught another one. It's the next true crime exclusive. I mean, and it's not. People don't understand how fake their news is. I can go on and on about messages, psyops, especially when you see elections going on. When they shift the cameras to different backgrounds and present specific kinds of directed messages that kind of match the background as they run the show to manipulate people in a way. You see, it's funny when I'm watching scene. I'm laughing at this stuff.
Yes. I was just going to say that. I can't even turn it on. Because I laugh at it when I'm like, oh, it's such bullshit. Yeah.
What's that?
I said when I watch it.
I also caught a time that they were running these things across the tickers at the bottom on Fox News. And And this lasted for about a month. And we were at a war at that time, and they were saying X amount of people died here, and there's so much. I'm watching the numbers, and so much in the budget or this thing, but they're adding it into a story, okay? And it's run across both tickers. And just like this, at 45-degree angles, 4 and 5 is 9. At 9 months is 9. At 18 months, 1 and 8 is 9. At 27 months, 2 and 7 is 9. So all these things, all these numbers that are coming across the bottom of this ticker are multiplication factors of 9. And I'm telling all my friends, look at this. What do they do? It didn't stay on long enough for me to try to break a code. And I knew it was going on, and we're all trying to figure it out. And it went away, and I can't figure it. You know, you also see the number 11, 22, and 33 a lot. So,
yep.
So when you
I've seen it.
World War,
once you know the stuff,
when you see World War II, and it began September 1st, 1939, and ended September 2nd, 1945, this is a 6-year spiral, okay? And when this lines up with these cops and pole people showing up, and Gerald Wilhelm and Jan Wilhelm killed in their court dates, I'm trying to show you a consistent pattern of what I'm looking at. This was planned from beginning to end. The president at the time knew they were going to bomb Pearl Harbor and didn't say nothing.
Yep.
I mean, and then you got 3-2 of 42, and it rolls around. You got 3-2 of 43, and you got D-Day here. And see how they're 6 months? See, this is years, but on a year, this is 6 months and 1 day apart. This is 6 months and 1 day apart if this was a full circle year. This is the same exact thing. You see, you're just incrementing time. It would kind of be like Ezekiel's a wheel inside of a wheel inside of a wheel. You're just incrementing time, and it's what you're doing. I kind of came back from a near-death experience with this, and the warning to leave America, and this is why I'm saying leave America. I've never been in church. I've always been religious, read the Bible and such. Never been part of government, never been in a Mason Lodge, but I have all their knowledge and information when I come back from this, and I'm like, wow, I see everything. So this woke stuff they're talking about in the gay terms and all that stuff is, again, another diversion off of people being aware. These things have gone on for a long time. I got full stacks of judicial, criminal complaint forms, everything. But I know that because that guy went and they killed his mom and stole the property and fought him for years, paying money into the system, again, enriching them just to him to be killed. I know there's no sense in paying these people to sue them when they're already getting a paycheck to begin with. You see, they're getting paid to do a job, and they need to start doing it. So, in and of itself, that is a sham. All these people who say, oh, we won this big case, we can go pray on the football field, we're victors and all this stuff. While the lawyer and the judges are laughing out the back door, splitting the $1 million they cost in the lawsuit. You see, it's a sham. People need to figure these things out. They haven't really won anything. It's just kind of a resistance to it right now. A lot of people are more aware and they're figuring these things out. You can put Aleister Crowley hat on the top of that circle, and it's an alchemical symbol. When you're putting this down, a line through the center of the hat, it goes to the bottom of that circle, and the lines off the side of that hat coincide with the side points, okay? And this is spiritual alchemy. This would be, I forget the 3 names, Abrego, Meshach, whatever it was that were tossed in the flame and wasn't burned in the Bible. But when you go look at these things up in chemistry, this is an alchemical process that they're doing. And these prosecutors everywhere need to be checked to see if they have a chemistry degree, because this one did. They're an educated sham, and hopefully these people don't tend to run me over or do me harm again for making this podcast, but
well, we all have to watch our backs. I watch myself in a parking lot, to make sure I don't see any cars,
I've always served the
Coming
people
after
and
me.
the nobodies, because that's what a preacher's supposed to do. You're supposed to lead the flock, not fleece the flock. So a message to all you leaders out there, because true leaders do not ask the people to do anything they're unwilling to do. When you're running a depopulation program, get to the front of the line. I mean, this is ridiculous. Any questions for me? I mean, I'm fixing to start making videos on these things and be very specific about it.
Yeah, yep, I want you to start making videos on it, because the more information that comes out, it's just going to take one thing for a person to see that's halfway there to fully wake up to be like, we need to take back our country, basically. It's been hijacked.
Yeah, it has. I don't know what else to say. You pretty much said it all right there. Even when the 14th Supreme Court told these courts to let me go, they still had all these special rules and opinions they made up on themselves to not let me go. And it was all for the purpose of completing that ritual. So when you look at this fire, water, air, earth, okay, Texas don't know these people. The middle of Texas don't know these people here. And they did fire, water, air, earth. This is witchcraft. And in Texas, they put me in a red dorm, a blue dorm, a yellow dorm, and a green dorm, and then let me go. When this first 14 months, and when this first county cop shows up here, she's kind of chuckling and puts her foot on my green gate I got out here in front. And she asked me, did you see the 14-year-old runaway kid? You see? And he had a green shirt on. And I jumped in front of her vehicle because I knew they were filming me. And I made sure I put all the evidence I could on it to clearly state what I saw and everything. Didn't have to lie it off. This would be the 14 parts of Isis and Osiris. Okay, so when the Bible's telling you not to leave Sodom and Gomorrah and all this, but to leave Sodom and Egypt, this is what they're doing. If you look at the Washington Monument as a sundial and the inside of the Capitol like the face of a clock, you can see how it works. Okay, and this is anything but the God from the Bible. So hopefully I've helped you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here to do.
Anything but. It's just the opposite. I think you've helped a lot of people come, with that knowledge. I think it's great. I think you should keep going. So I appreciate you coming on.
We've had to sell properties. I mean, everything. We paid a cost for speaking, a huge cost for speaking. But each time they've done things, it seems like everything fell in my favor and I thrived even more. Yeah, I'm sitting here, built a new house. And who comes to Arkansas and builds a new house to sell it, to leave America? All these people that are around me are from somewhere else. Hawaii, Mississippi, Texas. Heck, we got Ukrainians that don't even speak English living a couple houses down. Everybody came here from somewhere else. Everybody's moving around because they're trying to get away from this. In every state, no matter who they are. I come here and I run into an Afghani warlord, true Afghani warlord. I told him, man, you got to tone the clothing down a little bit because you're in America now. And he says, I don't care. I brought the 40,000 people came in with me. So when you're watching Biden leave all the stuff in Afghanistan, these are biblical things I'm watching. And all the equipment and everything else, this would be making way for the kings of the East and things. I can go on and on. But I won't waste your time anymore. I know you're busy. If you ever want me back on again, just email me and contact me. Maybe.
I will.
In the not I will. After some Charlie Kirk stuff's over. So.
All right. We can do it again. Thank you.
All right,
Stay strong, Brent. Gov Buster.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the Unveiling Shadows podcast. I hope today's episode has shed light on the experiences that too often remain hidden. If you or someone you know has a story to share, please reach out to me. Remember, you're not alone and your voice matters. Follow me on social media and subscribe to the podcast for more inspiring stories. Until next time, stay strong and keep unveiling the shadows.